Nigerians, something very interesting just happened that has the whole nation talking. Pastor Enoch Adeboye, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, has now publicly addressed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his message is bold. He told Tinubu to ask former US President Donald Trump to delay any planned action in Nigeria for 100 days, and at the same time set a 90-day deadline for the Nigerian military to finish the fight against terrorists in the country. Now, for those who might not know, this statement is huge. Pastor Adeboye is not just a religious leader, he is one of the most influential voices in Nigeria. His advice to the president is seen by many as both spiritual and practical guidance, urging the government to act decisively and fast to protect citizens, while also giving a warning that foreign military intervention should be delayed. Before we go deeper, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're following this story. This is real-time news that Nigerians everywhere need to hear, and your support helps spread awareness. Now, here's the gist. The backdrop to this is that the United States under Trump had previously indicated that they were considering more aggressive military actions against terrorist groups in Nigeria, particularly in the northeast, where Boko Haram and ISWAP are still active. This has caused tension and concern among Nigerians. Nobody wants their country to be a battlefield for foreign powers. That's why Pastor Adeboye's statement is getting attention. He is essentially saying, give Nigeria a chance to handle its security internally, but do it effectively and quickly. His suggestion of a 90-day military deadline shows urgency. He wants the government and security agencies to prove that they are capable of protecting Nigerians and ending terror attacks without waiting for foreign intervention. And honestly, this puts a lot of pressure on President Tinubu. Nigeria's citizens are already frustrated with ongoing insecurity, kidnappings, and attacks in different states like Borno, Yobe, Zamfara, and even parts of Kaduna and Plateau. Pastor Adeboye's public statement is like a reminder to the government that people are watching and expecting results. This also opens a larger conversation. What does it mean when a religious leader speaks so directly to a sitting president about national security? In Nigeria, spiritual and political influence often overlap. Adeboye's words carry weight because millions of Nigerians respect him. When he gives advice, it can influence public perception and even political decisions. Now, let's connect this to what's happening on the ground. The military has been carrying out operations in the northeast, but reports show that some of these efforts are slow and in some cases ineffective. Kidnappings, bombings, and attacks still occur, which makes Adeboye's 90-day deadline sound both ambitious and necessary. He's challenging the government to rise to the occasion and protect citizens in a visible, accountable way. At the same time, his advice about delaying Trump's action for 100 days is very strategic. It acknowledges that foreign intervention could complicate the situation. While some Nigerians welcome foreign support, many fear that direct military involvement from the US could escalate violence, create collateral damage, and undermine Nigeria's sovereignty. So, Adeboye is balancing urgency with caution, saying, act fast internally first and only then consider outside help if necessary. Before we continue, take a second to like this video and subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Sharing this video also helps other Nigerians understand what's really happening and why it matters. Now let's look at what this could mean for Tinubu's government. If the 90-day deadline is met and terrorists are reduced significantly, it could be a major boost for the administration. It would show that Nigeria can handle its internal security issues effectively. On the other hand, if the deadline passes without results, it could lead to public criticism, protests, and even questions about the government's competence. Meanwhile, the timing of Pastor Adeboye's statement is also significant. It comes at a period when there is heightened public debate over Nigeria's security strategy, foreign relations, and the role of spiritual leadership in national affairs. People are watching closely to see if the government will respond publicly or take immediate action. And let's not forget the people most affected. ordinary Nigerians living in areas of repeated terror attacks, families who have been displaced, communities rebuilding from attacks, and local leaders all need swift and effective action. Pastor Adeboye's statement is a way of amplifying their voices and putting national attention on the urgency of the matter. Again, if you're following this story and you want to stay informed, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends. These are conversations that affect all of us, and we need to keep spreading awareness. Now, beyond the headline, there's also a spiritual angle that Adeboye brings in. He's essentially reminding leaders that decisions about life, security, and the future of millions of people are not just political. They are moral and ethical. The message is, act decisively, protect the people, and do not wait for outside forces to fix internal problems. So, in a way, this statement is multi-layered. It is a call for swift military action, a warning against foreign interference, and a spiritual plea for responsible leadership Nigerians have taken to social media in droves to discuss the pastor's advice. Many agree with him, saying that Nigeria must show the world it can handle its own security challenges without becoming dependent on foreign military intervention. People are praising Adeboye for speaking boldly, reminding leaders that citizens are watching and that accountability cannot be ignored. On the other hand, some critics argue that the 90-day deadline is unrealistic. They point out that combating terrorists like Boko Haram and ISWAP requires intelligence, manpower, and logistics, all of which take time to coordinate effectively. Still, even critics admit that Adeboye's message shines a light on the need for urgency and decisive action. Now, moving to the government side, there hasn't been a detailed official response yet. However, insiders say that the security agencies have intensified operations in Borno, Yobe, Zamfara, and other high-risk areas. Military strategists suggest that a 90-day window, if properly executed, could focus on clearing known terrorist strongholds, improving intelligence sharing, and rescuing kidnapped victims. Let's also consider the strategic timing of this advice. Trump's potential action adds pressure on Nigeria. If foreign military forces intervene too soon, it could escalate violence and create political tension. Adeboye's suggestion of delaying external involvement for 100 days gives the Nigerian military a chance to demonstrate capacity, independence, and sovereignty. This shows a careful balance, protecting citizens while also managing international relations. Before we go further, take a moment to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Sharing this video ensures more Nigerians and global viewers understand the context and urgencies behind this statement. Now, from a community perspective, this advice resonates with people living in conflict zones. Ordinary citizens in northern Nigeria have been facing terror attacks, kidnappings, and destruction of property for years. Adeboye's statement is a message of hope, telling them that the leadership is being urged to act decisively, that someone influential is watching and advocating for urgent solutions. Another interesting point is the interplay of spiritual leadership and politics in Nigeria. Pastors like Adeboye are often seen as moral compasses, but this instance shows how spiritual voices can influence political action. By publicly giving this advice, Adeboye reminds leaders that decisions are not just about policy, but also about ethics, morality, and the value of human life. Meanwhile, analysts are discussing what a 90-day military deadline would look like. It could mean targeted operations in key terrorist-held regions, increased intelligence sharing between state and federal security agencies, better coordination with local vigilante groups to protect vulnerable communities, rescue operations for kidnapped civilians, clear public reporting on progress to ensure accountability. All of these measures, if implemented correctly, could significantly reduce terror activities and reassure citizens that their safety is a priority. Now, let's not forget the international angle. Foreign governments are closely watching Nigeria's security situation. Adeboye's advice to delay Trump's action is also strategic in this sense. It signals that Nigeria wants to maintain control over its internal security affairs while showing the world that it can manage its own challenges. And again, this is why your voice matters. If you're watching this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share the video. The more Nigerians and global viewers engage with this discussion, the more pressure there is on leaders to act decisively and transparently. Finally, this conversation also sparks debate about accountability and timelines. Can the Nigerian military realistically eliminate terrorism in 90 days? Maybe not completely, but a focused strategy with strong leadership and community cooperation could make significant progress. Adeboye's advice is meant to inspire urgency and responsibility, reminding both the government and citizens that time is of the essence. Nigerians, what we've just discussed is more than just a statement from Pastor Adeboye. It's a wake-up call. By telling President Tinubu to ask Trump to delay action for 100 days and giving the military a 90-day deadline, he is essentially saying, step up, act decisively, and protect your people. This is not just spiritual advice. It's a message of accountability. Citizens are watching, communities are suffering, and the world is paying attention. The Nigerian government now faces a real challenge. Can it meet this deadline and prove that it can effectively secure the nation without escalating foreign involvement? From the public perspective, Pastor Adeboye's statement has created hope, but also urgency. People living in conflict zones want action, not words. Social media discussions, community forums, and civic groups have all responded to this call, echoing the need for swift and visible results. The military now has both national and international eyes on it. Effective intelligence operations, targeted strikes, and coordination with local communities are essential. While 90 days may sound ambitious, it is a symbolic reminder that security cannot wait. Furthermore, this situation highlights the unique role of spiritual leadership in Nigeria. Adeboye is showing that moral guidance and political action can intersect, that ethical responsibility is as important as strategy in leadership. At the same time, citizens have a role to play by staying informed, raising awareness, and holding leaders accountable. So Nigerians contribute to national progress. And that is why your voice matters. Like this video, subscribe and share so more people can understand the urgency of the situation and join the conversation.